Once upon a time, in a vibrant African village, there lived a woman named Lila. Known for her bright smile, she was adored by everyone, except for one little boy named Tund, her 7-year-old son. While Lila loved her son dearly, she had a darker passion: gossip. From dawn until dusk, Lila would gather with her friends, eagerly spreading rumors about anyone and everyone in the village. "Tund, go play somewhere far," she would tell him, as she settled in with her gossiping friends. Tund would sigh but obey, roaming the fields alone, while Lila's laughter echoed, oblivious to his solitude. One fateful day, a stranger entered the village. He was cloaked in shadows and carried an air of mystery. The villagers whispered about him. Lila, excited by the news, hurried to join her friends as they speculated about the newcomer. "Did you see his clothes? He must have gold," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. The more she gossiped, the more rumors spread like wildfire. "Poor Tund," she said absent-mindedly during one of her chats, not realizing that the wrong people were listening. "He's always playing alone. No one would think twice about kidnapping him." That very evening, as Tund played in the fields, the mysterious stranger looked on from a distance. He overheard Lila's careless words and began to plot. A child who nobody watches over, he mused to himself, a wicked grin forming on his face. As darkness fell, Tund wandered farther, lost in his own little world. The stranger approached him, hiding his true intentions behind a friendly smile. "Hello there, little warrior. Do you want to see something amazing?" Tund, innocent and trusting, followed him without hesitation. Meanwhile, Lila was still caught up in her gossiping circle, completely unaware of what had transpired. The night grew darker, and panic filled the air when the village began to search for Tund. Frantic calling echoed through the fields, but no response came. The next morning, Lila woke up with a horrible feeling inside. Panic seized her heart when she noticed Tund was missing. "Where is my son?" she screamed, rushing out into the village. The gossiping women quickly fell silent, their eyes reflecting the fear that had settled over them. As the villagers searched high and low, Lila finally confessed, "I spoke carelessly about Tund. I shouldn't have said he was lonely." But it was too late. Her words had reached the ears of the wrong person, and now her son was gone. After hours of searching, the villagers found Tund's lifeless body hidden in the bushes, taken by the stranger for a horrific purpose. Heartbroken, Lila felt as if the earth had caved beneath her. The shock of loss washed over her like an unforgiving tide. Her husband, Kofi, returned home just as the news broke. He was filled with rage and sorrow. "Layla," he roared, his voice echoing through the village. "Because of your gossip, our son is dead. You cared more for your idle chatter than for our child." His words cut like a knife, and Lila felt the weight of every accusation. "I didn't mean for this to happen. I thought I was just talking," she cried, collapsing to the ground. "Please forgive me." The village was engulfed in grief. Lila became a pariah. Her gossiping led to tragedy, and now everyone whispered her name with scorn. The elders gathered to discuss the incident. "A careless tongue can bring calamity," they warned, their faces grim. Lila, gripped by guilt, spent her days weeping by Tund's grave, whispering apologies to the wind. "I will change. I promise to never speak thoughtlessly again," she vowed, but the damage was done. Tund's spirit was restless, haunting her every moment. Every night, as Lila lay in bed, she thought she could hear Tund's soft voice calling out to her, "Mother, why did you let me go? Why didn't you protect me?" The echoes of his innocent pleas tore at her heart, reminding her of her negligence. As days turned to weeks, the village turned cold towards Lila. They no longer gathered around her to share gossip. Instead, they avoided her as if shame clung to her like a heavy cloak. She realized that her actions not only caused her heartbreak but shattered the bonds of community trust. One dark night, a storm raged outside, reflecting Lila's inner turmoil. Desperate for solace, she ventured to the village shrine, where the elders would often seek guidance from the ancestors. She lit a candle and pleaded, "Please let me make amends. I will do anything to honor my son." Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the shrine, extinguishing the candle. The room turned icy cold, and in the flickering shadows, Lila saw a vision. Tund stood before her, his small form surrounded by a soft glow. His face was not angry but filled with sorrow. "Mother, you must speak the truth now," he said, his voice echoing like a distant memory. "You must share my story to warn others. Your words can either hurt or heal. Use them wisely." Tears filled Lila's eyes. "You're right, Tund. I will tell my story so that no one else suffers like we have." With newfound determination, Lila returned to the village the next day. She gathered everyone in the center, her heart pounding as she began to speak. "I am Lila, and I have lost my precious son because of my careless gossip. I spread words that drew danger to him, and it cost me everything. I ask for your forgiveness, but more importantly, I urge you to learn from my mistakes." The villagers listened in silence, their expressions a mix of sorrow and disbelief. As Lila shared the tale of Tund's kidnapping and the consequences of her gossiping, tension filled the air. When she finished, a heavy silence hung over them. Finally, an elder spoke up. "Your honesty is brave, Lila. We all have a responsibility to watch our words, for they hold great power." The crowd murmured in agreement, and slowly, they began to understand Lila's message. From that day on, gossiping became a thing of the past in the village. They made a pact to uplift one another instead of tearing each other down. Though Lila would never see Tund again in the flesh, she felt his presence beside her as she helped others learn to speak with love. Her heart, once heavy with whispers of regret, began to heal as she planted seeds of kindness throughout the village. As the seasons changed, Tund's memory became a source of strength for Lila. Each year, the village celebrated a day of remembrance for him, a day dedicated to kindness and the value of protecting one another. Lila spoke on that day, her words ringing out clear and loud, reminding everyone that gossip could lead to pain but love could revive hope. Time moved on, but the story of Lila and Tund lived on in the hearts of the villagers. They passed it down to their children, ensuring that his spirit would never be forgotten. Lila, now a wise woman, wore her guilt like a badge of honor, for it was that pain that prompted her transformation. In her heart, she carried Tund as a guiding light, always reminding her to choose love over gossip. And at night, when the wind howled and she felt the chill of loneliness, Lila would close her eyes and smile, knowing that her son was watching over her, proud of the woman she had become. Thus, Lila's tale turned from one of tragedy to a legacy of wisdom, teaching generations that words can build bridges or create chasms, and that love is the most powerful force of all. It's true that Tund and the villagers forgive Lila, but her husband never forgave her. The end.